All right, so we are back, and I have news. I don't know if you're going to look at this as good news, bad news, but it is breaking news. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson will not be happening on July 20th. The fight's postponed. We have to talk about why it's postponed, what's going to happen to this fight. Is it even going to take place? If so, when, where, the breakdown. Let's go. All right, so news just came out. Like I said, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson is postponed. Now, this is coming after a report that came out last week, I think, or maybe the early part of this week, where Mike Tyson was on a plane from Miami to Los Angeles, and right before landing, he had what they called a medical emergency, and there was doctors needed in the plane. Turned out that was a stomach ulcer flare-up, and while that was really the only thing that came out of that, I didn't really know what that meant. What is a stomach ulcer, and what does it do? How does it happen, and can you prevent it? Is it a consequence of something? These are all questions that I had, but it seemed like, okay, he had a stomach ulcer flare-up, whatever. We move on. Until today, where we got a statement from MVP, from Mike Tyson, from Jake Paul, all essentially saying the same thing, that Mike Tyson's ulcer flare-up has caused this fight to be postponed. And here's the quote from Mike Tyson. He says, "I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I've been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 90s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance later this year." This is why I say the fight's been postponed. It seems like Mike Tyson still wants to go through with this. And it seems like from Most Valuable Promotions, they intend to go through with this fight still. As they said in their statement, Mike is expected to return to his full training camp schedule in the coming weeks, is eager to get back in the ring. MVP anticipates rescheduling the match to later this year at AT&T Stadium, and we look forward to an exciting and well-prepared contest between two exceptional athletes. The new date of the fight will be announced next Friday, June 7th. So again, they seem content on continuing this thing. I have told you guys from the beginning, while this will be a massive fight, it will be one of the most watched fights ever. I didn't think it was a great idea that Mike Tyson at his age should be fighting. Again, he's a grown man. He's going to do what he does. Now, though, you look at this, and it almost reinforces what I had said from the beginning, that Mike, at his age, is showing the signs of his age. And again, I don't know where these ulcers came from, but if you need to stop training for them to go away, it may seem to reason that when you start training again at that same veracity, if they came from his training, that they may come back. I don't know. I don't know how ulcers work, but it just doesn't seem like something that's just going to go away. I only offer you this because I don't know if rescheduling is going to fix that for Mike Tyson. I have no idea, but I do know why they are rescheduling this. And I know a lot of people right now online are looking for this thing to be canceled or Jake to switch opponents. And while, yes, in a perfect world where Netflix rights fees and stadium bookings and money and travel and fighters, all that stuff could be just decided by a snap of the fingers, yeah, I would say let's get Mike out of there and make the KSI fight, or give me the Tommy Fury rematch, or Mike Pat, like somebody else. Yes, I would agree with you there. But the real reason, as much as you may not want to hear it, that Mike Tyson will stay on this card, if at all it's physically possible for him to do so, is because Mike, at least in my opinion, is a big part of the driving power behind the Netflix deal. Like, this fight being on Netflix, I wouldn't say is only because of Mike Tyson, but predominantly because Mike Tyson is on board and the eyeballs he and, of course, Jake and other people on the card bring. But Mike specifically is the reason that, again, he will remain on this thing if it's at all possible that he can fight. So that's kind of where this thing is right now. You have Mike Tyson, who is having stomach ulcers. And again, I don't really know. I mean, we could take a look. But apparently, it can be caused by some bacteria or prolonged use of anti-inflammatory medication, which, again, you could argue that could come from Mike training and having to take anti-inflammatories because his body is not recovering in the same way, or he has some sort of bacteria in his stomach. But again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how these things happen. All I know is that it has happened, and we're in this situation now where the entire world is looking at this fight, seeing 57-year-old Mike that will be 58, already a lot of people having an issue with this fight because of that age difference and Mike being out of the game for as long as he has been, now seeing this and saying, how can you now continue to go forward with it? But again, I know this isn't prime Mike getting in there. This is why I thought and still think Jake is going to hurt him badly in this fight. It won't be a close fight, in my opinion. And I don't think Mike is in the best shape he's been in since the 90s, but he has chosen to do this and apparently is still continuing to choose to do it, because here's Jake Paul's comment on the matter and what's happening in moving parts that I'm picking up a little bit on, and I think there could be some extrapolation we can take from it.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. Opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy. I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is going to knock me out, and I bought myself some time. So Mike is still talking shit over there. But Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you've said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time. So
He said where?
Do this in Q4.
In Q4.
Need a little bit of time. So I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world, and I turn all my L's into W's. That's a motto I live by, and the universe makes no mistakes. So let's see what's in store. But sorry this didn't work out. To everyone, the fans, love you guys.
All right, so what I take away from that, a couple things. One, they're talking about rescheduling this in Q4, meaning quarter 4 of the year. And from what I know about Jake and Nikisa and the businesses they do not like running their events against college football or professional football here in the United States. That's been one of the big issues with doing a KSI fight during the time frame that you would get college football, because they know that college football and, again, professional football here in the U.S. is a big market chunk of the people that potentially could watch their fights. So if they are going to reschedule this, which it looks like they're intent on doing, I have to think that Q4 means October through December, and we've seen Jake multiple times fight around that December, Christmas Day time, and that would probably make the most sense. Maybe a Thanksgiving time frame around there, but that's right between like end of college football season and the beginning of bowl season. So you have a little bit of time. There was not too much going on there on a Saturday. And obviously, I don't think they want to run it on a Sunday right before a Monday work week. So that would make sense, I guess. But I also saw there that Jake said, it's a massive opportunity. Don't want to pass this up. This fight will change the world. This goes back to my thinking that the big reason they want to get this fight over the line, I don't think Jake thinks Mike is going to hurt him. But those words, change the world, is specifically, at least to me, what I'm taking away from it is the Netflix deal. This would be the first fight on Netflix. Obviously, Mike's name value attached to it is so massive, which is why they will keep him on the card if he is deemed fit to fight by the Texas State Athletic Commission, which has been the even bigger part that's a bummer about this, is that you have this stacked undercard that was supposed to happen on July 20th, and in any other situation, a regular fight card, you could probably bump up your co-main event and still have that card go on. But again, this is almost, at least what I'm gathering, a package deal with Jake, Mike, and the rest of the undercard for this Netflix event. So if you don't get the two at the top, you're not going to get the rest. So for the Ashton Silves, the Amanda Serranos, the Katie Taylor, the Kid Austin Schofields, the Darren Tills, the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Miraj Goyat, and Winterson Nunes, those people, they have their opportunities taken as well. And again, I hear you guys saying, well, just change the opponent. Just put Mike Perry in there, or somehow get KSI in there. And on the surface of it, in the moment, those things could make sense. Even though Jake is a heavyweight and, the weight issues would be one thing, but you're talking about rights contracts and people that are locked down in certain deals that wouldn't be available to do others. So yeah, common sense is telling you that this is not a great look for Mike, right? Health-wise, whatever. You hope that he is healthy, just as a person, before boxing. And at his age, I think Jake would have hurt him on July 20th, and I think Jake will hurt him whenever they reschedule it. But that seems to be what they're doing, and I guess we'll keep tabs on June 7th to see what that new date is, and keep tabs on Mike Tyson to see if this ulcer thing is going to resolve, or if they're going to have to hit the red button as it continues to flare up and look for something. For now, everything coming out today is pretty much Tyson and Jake postponed, not happening on July 20th, probably going to be rescheduled. They're saying October to December. I have no idea what the date will be. I just tend to think December works pretty good for what Jake has previously done and may do now. Regardless, we'll keep our eye on the situation. Again, I got to say this. I hate it for the people on the undercard. I know how big this opportunity was going to be to get eyes on some of the rising stars in boxing. That part to me is the biggest bummer. Like, I am a big fan of all of those fighters, and I do want to see them get their opportunity. So that's where we'll leave it. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. This thing's postponed. We'll see what happens here, because influencer boxing, if it's taught us anything, is that we don't have the answers. These things in the fight game, and especially in the influencer fight game, can change on a dime. So Jake Paul, Mike Tyson postponed for now. What happens next? Guess we'll find out.